The announcement came over the intercom at 10:17 a.m., and I still remember the way Ms. Patterson's voice cracked on the word, secure. I was a senior, sitting in third period history when the speaker above the whiteboard buzzed to life. It wasn't the usual monotone morning announcements. It was Ms. Patterson from the front office, and she said the words we'd all heard in drills a dozen times but never really believed would be real. Teachers, this is not a drill. Secure your doors. This is not a drill. The classroom went silent. Mr. Callahan, who'd been in the middle of a lecture about the Cold War, stopped mid-sentence. He looked at the speaker, then at us, and for a second, I saw something in his face I'd never seen before. Fear. Real fear. He walked to the door, closed it, and locked it without a word. Someone whispered, "What's happening?" No one answered. Mr. Callahan pulled the blinds closed over the small window in the door. The room dimmed, shadows falling across the desks, and we sat there in the half-dark, listening. The hallway was quiet. Too quiet. The kind of quiet that presses against your eardrums. I remember thinking it was probably nothing. A gas leak. A police chase nearby. Something routine. But then I heard the footsteps. Running. Fast and heavy, coming from the east hallway. Someone sprinting past our door. A second pair followed. And then a sound I'll never forget. A door slamming somewhere down the hall. Then another. And another. Like dominoes falling. Mr. Callahan held a finger to his lips and pointed to the back corner of the room. The storage closet. We all knew the drill. We moved quietly, 15 of us cramming into that tiny space, the smell of old textbooks and dust filling our lungs. He was the last one in. He pulled the door closed, and we sat there in the dark, breathing too loud, waiting. From inside the closet, we could hear everything. The hallway was chaos now. Doors slamming. Voices shouting. Someone screamed, a short, sharp sound that was cut off fast. My friend Emma grabbed my arm, her nails digging in. I could feel her shaking. I was shaking too. Then there was a knock. Not on our door. On the door across the hall. 3 knocks. Slow. Deliberate. A pause. Then 3 more. The person on the other side must have opened it, because the next thing we heard was something heavy hitting the floor. A desk, maybe. Or a body. I squeezed my eyes shut. I tried to count backward from 100, something I'd read about once for panic attacks. I got to 93 before I heard footsteps in the hallway again. This time, they were slower. Calm. The footsteps stopped right outside our classroom door. I could picture it so clearly. Someone standing there, looking at the closed blinds. Looking at the locked door. I held my breath. We all did. The silence was unbearable. And then, someone knocked. 3 slow knocks on our door. I heard Mr. Callahan exhale behind me, a tiny, desperate sound. We didn't move. We didn't make a sound. For a full minute, nothing happened. And then the door handle turned. Slowly. Whoever was out there was trying the knob. It was locked. The handle stopped moving. I let out a breath I didn't know I was holding. And then the person spoke. A voice I recognized immediately. Mr. Callahan. It's Principal Hayes. The lockdown is over. You can come out now. I almost cried with relief. My hand was on the closet door before Mr. Callahan grabbed my wrist. He pulled me back, his grip iron tight. He shook his head. His eyes were wide, wild. I looked at him, confused. Why wasn't he opening the door? That's when I noticed his phone. He was holding it up, the screen facing me. On it was a text from the school's emergency alert system. It had come through 3 minutes ago. The message read, "Lockdown still in effect. Do not open doors for anyone. Principal Hayes is not confirmed safe. The voice came again. Mr. Callahan, it's okay. We've cleared the building. The police are here. You can open up. I looked at Mr. Callahan. He was staring at the classroom door, visible through the crack in the closet. He didn't move. None of us did. The voice waited. Then, with a sigh that sounded almost disappointed, the footsteps started again. Walking away. Slow. Calm. Down the hallway and out of earshot. We stayed in that closet for another 45 minutes. I don't know how we survived it. Every sound made us flinch. Every creak of the building made someone gasp. When the real police finally came, knocking in a pattern we'd been told to listen for, we were so numb we could barely stand. They walked us out in single file, hands on our heads. The hallway was destroyed. Doors broken, glass everywhere, papers scattered like snow. There were red stains on the floor near Mrs. Davison's room. I didn't look too close. I couldn't. In the parking lot, parents were crying, kids were hugging, police were everywhere. I found my mom and let her hold me. I didn't cry. I couldn't. I just stood there, watching the building, waiting for the feeling to come back. Later, they told us what happened. A man had gotten into the building through a side door that hadn't latched properly. He'd made it down the east hallway before someone saw him. He tried every door. Every single one. Most were locked. But one wasn't. They told us his name. They told us he'd been a student there, years ago. They told us he was found in the cafeteria, hiding in the kitchen, when SWAT moved in. He hadn't hurt anyone. He'd just walked through the halls, knocking on doors, trying handles, talking to people through the wood. The only person he'd hurt was himself. He'd had a knife. But he never used it on anyone else. That was what they told us. What they put in the news. What they wanted us to believe. But here's what they didn't tell you. When I got home that night, I couldn't sleep. I kept seeing that hallway, those closed doors, those footsteps. I kept hearing his voice. So calm. So normal. I kept thinking about what he'd said. Principal Hayes is safe. The lockdown is over. He knew Mr. Callahan's name. He knew our principal's name. He'd been a student there, they said. Years ago. So maybe he remembered. Maybe he remembered Mr. Callahan, remembered the layout, remembered who was who. That could explain it. But there was one detail I couldn't shake. A tiny thing that kept me awake for months afterward. In the closet, when I looked through the crack at the classroom door, I saw the blinds move. Just a little. Just enough for someone outside to see in. And I realized something I hadn't wanted to admit. The blinds over the window in our door were closed. Mr. Callahan closed them. But there was another window. The small one, high up, near the ceiling. The one that faced the hallway. The one we never thought about because you couldn't reach it without a ladder. That window didn't have blinds. And when I saw the blinds move, I understood. He'd been watching us the whole time. Before he knocked. Before he spoke. He knew exactly how many of us were in that room. He knew where we were hiding. He knew Mr. Callahan was in the closet with his phone, reading the emergency alert. He knew everything. And still, he knocked. Still, he pretended. Still, he walked away. They said he tried every door. They said most were locked. But he never forced a single one. He never broke a window. He never used the knife. He just walked through the halls, knocking, waiting, seeing who would let him in. And the only reason he didn't get into our room wasn't because the door was locked. It was because he chose not to. I still think about that sometimes. In the middle of the night, when I can't sleep. I think about him standing outside our door, knowing exactly where we were, and I wonder. I wonder if he was testing us. Or if he was testing himself. Or if he was just waiting to see which of us would be the one to open the door. I still don't know why he stopped knocking. I still don't know why he walked away. But I know he could have come in. Anytime he wanted. The door was locked. But that window was glass. And he had all the time in the world.